Okay, so as I said, we are now recording this session, and again, this is just so that other parents who want to see this later on can come back and have a look at this video. So first and foremost, so Sally is asking where you'll be putting the record or the recording, I'm assuming. It will go onto the website so that any parent can see that later on. Okay, so hopefully that's that part. So first and foremost, let me say hello. My name's Mr. Collins, and this is the oddest experience I think I've ever had as a school leader. Normally by this point, you've had multiple opportunities to meet the parents in the school who are your most important partners when we're looking at the outcomes for students. And it's been a very difficult start to the year. I'd like to say thank you. I've had received lots of emails from parents suggesting different ideas and different ways we can do things, but also from parents who are concerned and worried, and quite rightly, because we're all in this situation a little bit in the dark together. The one thing that I can say to you is it's quite normal that I receive the information in regards to what's going to be happening next at about the same time that you hear things. So this school closure, and when that was announced, I heard that at the exact same moment as you all heard that. So all of the planning we had done up to that point, we tore up, threw it in the bin and started the next plan, which was the lockdown. So today is a bit of information about what we're doing, how we're doing it, what we know, and again, offering you the opportunity to ask any questions. So the first thing I'm just going to say is, at this moment in time, we do not know how the government is proposing the assessments will be conducted for Year 11s and Year 13s. Yesterday, the Sunday Times put an article out suggesting that the exam boards might ask us to sit mini exams in the summer where we would mark them. And like lots of my colleagues, I kind of scratch my head a bit because I can't see the difference between setting an exam and the exam board marking it. Anyway, so we don't know yet how these things are going to work through. We do have the experience of last year. And so the simple part at this moment in time, it is our intention that we are going to teach the whole course. We are not going to cut corners. We're not going to stop teaching bits of the course because we don't feel that they are going to be in the exam. We will be teaching the whole of their GCSE to all of the students. As we go along, of course, there'll be homeworks to complete, and there'll be work to complete, and there'll be small assessments that we'll be asking the students to do. And clearly that is the most important thing that your child can do at this moment in time, is keep up with the work. If they're keeping up with the work, if they're sending work in to be marked, if they're getting feedback on that work and improving the work, all of those things are going to go towards that final centre assessed grade. Even if the government puts some form of controlled assessment in at the end, there will still be the makeup of all the work that they're doing over this next few weeks. So what I mean by that is, if they had a piece of work in and they get a grade but would like to improve it, they just need to ask the teacher, and the teacher will be able to say to them, here's the feedback, here's the way that you can improve that piece of work. And what that means then is that, of course, each time that grade improves on a piece of work, the centre assessed grade at the end of the year will also improve. So in some ways, we have a really great opportunity here for our young people in 11 and 13, because they will start to get a picture of their hard work having an impact in their overall grade when we get towards the end of the year. So just going to just summarise that again. We are going to be teaching the whole of the GCSE. We're not going to cut any corners unless we're told anything differently. But the most important thing is that your son and daughter are keeping up with the work, constantly submitting the work, making sure that work's being marked, taking the feedback from the member of staff. If they're getting the opportunity to improve it, to improve that work as well. There is I'm getting quite a lot of feedback. If someone can just make sure everyone's on mute, that would be great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Mrs. Horton, and Mrs. Horton is going to talk a little bit about the sixth form and also our approach to remote learning.
Good afternoon. Yes, so first of all, just talk a little bit about remote learning, and there's a letter that will detail this more coming out to you shortly. So your students should be accessing their lessons on Teams. And for year 11 and year 12, the expectation would be that the lesson the work is planned for the hour or the 2 hours of lessons that they are attending. Each of these lessons should be started off by the teacher on Teams, and they will then deliver their exposition and check for understanding and opposition, and then there will be opportunity for students to master that skill or that knowledge that they're being presented with. I would expect that work would be set and assessed according to the assessment map of that curriculum. So, for example, in history, I'm expecting that essays would be still set, and those longer questions from the GCSE would be, so both for year 11 and year 12. So your students should be, as Mr. Collins said, continuing to cover the curriculum, and should be continued to be set substantial pieces of work. And we've emphasised with heads of department, this is particularly important with year 11, so that they can be assessed and contribute to their final grade. Please, if there are any questions about remote learning for either year 11 or year 12, please feel free to either put them in the chat, which I'm kind of currently looking at, or to email me separately. I would like to say that particularly with A-level, we have had probably this is the area we've had the most significant experience in delivering online learning. So it should be of a high quality. Now, to year 11 parents, obviously we would really like all of your students to remain with us in the sixth form. You can apply to our sixth form in two ways. So you can either do it through the East Sussex Career Service, or there's a link on the website. And I have been informed that all of the year 11 students' information has been already uploaded into that system. So if your son or daughter does want to apply that way, they don't have to enter in again all their details, because it should already be in there. So as a sixth form, I can't emphasise probably how much more we can offer. We do know your son or daughter, so we will know in September where their learning gaps are, or where their strengths and their areas for development are. Our class sizes remain small, so we can give that individual help. We are, there are lots of expert teachers in their fields in the sixth form, and our results are very good. So the sixth form at Arc Alexandra has performed in the top 10% for the last 3 years, and our results continue to improve. We offer a full suite of A-levels, so everything, the humanities, English, maths, sociology, psychology, economics, the sciences, and English literature, so a whole range of A-levels. And plus we have a course called Professional Pathways, which offers either a single, double or triple award in business studies, and is a BTEC qualification, which is equivalent to A-level. So we are an ambitious and high achieving sixth form, and I think that's, and I won't apologise for that, I think that's a very good thing. And this year we've got over half of the students applying to top universities, and their offers are, which is really reassuring, coming in now, and they're getting really reasonable offers, so which is great. I will now hand over, I believe, to Mr. Morris, who's going to talk to you about some continued careers guidance that is going on for both year 11 and year 12. But if you would like to know anything more about our sixth form, or you'd like to have a conversation with me about any of the courses we offer, please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Hello, thank you, Ms. Horton, and welcome everyone to this. I just wanted to come in and talk about college applications, but also to talk about the potential of some careers advice. First of all, in terms of college applications, before Christmas, we started the process of students applying to their college, further to what Ms. Horton had mentioned there. So it becomes, I guess, it becomes more important now that students apply and get on top of that in terms of applying for their courses for next year. All of the information is on their Show My Homework page in terms of that, and it's all on the careers section of the school website under post 16. If you need any more information, please contact your tutor or contact myself regarding that. Also, I know that most of you have, some of you have responded, most of you would have had a message about careers interviews. The aim is that all Year 11s are entitled to a careers interview from a qualified careers advisor. So if you would like, your son or daughter would like that, please email myself, Mr. Morris. My email is on the website. Please email me to confirm whether you would like that to happen. I have had, thank you for those parents who have emailed me. I will be in the process of emailing you shortly regarding dates and times for those interviews to take place. But if you would like one, please email me and I can put your name on the list. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. I'll pass you back to yourself.
So recognising this is a very swift meeting today, just to kind of let you know where we are. I am really sorry about how anxious this must make some of our students in terms of going forward in exams, etc. But I think it's important for you to know is that we are doing everything in the background to keep them going in terms of their lessons. We're doing everything in the background to make sure their assessments count and they can use their assessments for their centre assessed grade. But as soon as we know how that final centre assessed grade looks, we'll of course be back in contact with parents and students. And so that's the kind of the crucial part that we're looking forward in going forward with you. It's just going to be, in some ways, it's going to be hard for the students because they're not going to have that interaction or that face-to-face interaction. However, I think what we've seen is the students who really sort of throw themselves into this time will actually gain a huge amount from it. They'll actually find that they can produce more work than they might have produced in lessons. They'll actually find that they've got more time to think and they've got more time to put some real effort into those work that they're handing into the school and giving us an opportunity to really put in the highest centre assessed grades that we possibly can. As information comes into schools, we will of course call back to the Year 11 parents and say to you, these are what we've discovered and these are the things that we found. I can see there are some questions coming in on the chat room, and hopefully Ms. Horton and Mr. Morris will be able to answer some of those questions as we carry on. But the other thing to say is that the part about this is them just attending, making sure they're going to lessons, making sure they're doing the work is the most important thing now. For those students who are anxious about exams, this is their best opportunity because there's a good chance that there will be no exams at this time, or to our knowledge, there'll be no exams at this time. And the government has reiterated on quite a few occasions now that there won't be any exams. But we do know that changing minds, changing direction is partly what we've got used to over the last few weeks. The final thing to say is that obviously the students had their mocks just before Christmas. And if you would like any feedback in terms of how you can help your children at home with different subjects, then the best way to do that is to email the teachers themselves, and the teachers will come back with answers. As soon as we know where we're heading, we will have a more formal parents' evening where you'll be able to speak to subject teachers, especially if you're thinking about an A-level in a subject or a BTEC in that subject. I think people find that quite useful. But of course, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them on the side. But I am now going to leave this open for anybody who would like to ask a question of any of us. If you can, try and raise your hand and I will try and find you on the list. Sometimes this is harder than it sounds. I can see a hand. Alicia, is it?
Yes, sir.
Hi.
I was just wondering, I emailed Mr. Morris that I was after a careers thing, but I haven't had a reply.
Okay. I'm sure Mr. Morris will. When did you send the email?
The day that the text messages were sent.
Okay. Is Mr. Morris still with us?
Yes, I have your name down, Alicia. I'm just in the process of currently putting a timetable together, so I will be in touch very shortly with all the information. I'll be emailing the emails out to your school email address with the links as well to the virtual interview. Okay.
Thanks. And I was also wondering, I emailed my head of year, Miss Deep Pros, about getting a maths book sent to me because I'm on my last page. I also haven't had a response from her yet.
Okay, well, Miss Deep Pros is here as well.
Hello, Alicia. How are you?
I'm fine, miss.
Okay, so I have spoken to Miss Suggett and she's assured me that there are some maths books available. So I'm going to email the office staff to have some available. Have you got someone that can come and collect for you?
No, we don't have a car, I'm afraid.
Okay, so I'm more than happy to come and deliver some to you, but it won't be until Friday. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Okay, all right. I'll get one to you on Friday.
Alicia,
okay,
do you have
no worries.
Alicia, do you have a device to do your work on?
Yes, I am
Okay.
using my laptop.
Okay,
Right now I'm
so
on my phone, but I use my laptop for lessons.
of course, so you can obviously use the Word document or the there is a way of doing the equations within Word as well if you need to do that. Because remember, those things can be emailed back into us. If you are thinking about ways to send work back in, I've been told that one of the best ways to do it is to use the Notes app if you have an Apple phone. If you use the Notes app and press the camera, you can select scan rather than photograph, and actually that becomes an easier way to send written work into us if you need to. But we're quite happy to take that written work on any piece of paper that you have, Alicia, so please don't worry.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Okay, Alicia's, you still got your hand up? Are you okay? Alicia's hand's gone down. Any other questions? I've seen some of the questions come through on the chat, and of course, they have been answered. So if we get to the end of this session today and questions come out later, please email those questions into us and we'll answer them as we go along. Oh, Mrs. Horton.
Yes, I just wanted, one thing that I came up today that I just wanted to speak to Year 12 parents about is that they should have received a copy of a report for their son or daughter either today I think by email or tomorrow. And I just wanted to clarify that report is reporting how the students did in their assessments before Christmas. So it's just kind of a diagnostic assessment to see where they were before Christmas. This isn't in any way a predicted grade. It was how they scored in those assessments. And if anyone is not sure what that data means or is concerned about it, please can they contact me and I'm happy to talk to them about it.
Thank you. I've just noticed a question there from Ms. Reid about mental health. Just to let you know, this is an area that we think is really important. So one of our first indicators is a student that's not attending lessons. And that's when our first set of welfare calls will start to go out from staff just to check on a student who's not turning up for lessons. Form periods as well, we've obviously got those are still running underneath, and the form tutor will be able to pick up if anything doesn't seem right. The other way that we're looking at, and I spoke to Mr. Scaife today, is we're going to send out a welfare questionnaire once a week. And we're going to ask the students to complete that once a week. So again, if there is anything that pops out of that we're concerned about, then we can set up a welfare call. I would say that the place to be section on the website is excellent. You can you can suggest that you would like some help and support. and someone from Place to Be will contact you if there's any other concerns that you might have. One of the things I'm saying to staff about their own well-being is I'm trying to encourage them to have as many of the breaks together. So break 1 or break 2, I'm encouraging them as a department to sit down and have a cup of tea together. And there's no reason why you can't encourage the students to do the same with their friends. It's actually just sit down and have a conversation together about how things are going. My daughter, school uses Teams as well, and her and her friends have set up another team where during their breaks and lunchtimes they meet and they have a conversation online where they can see each other and at least have that chat. But if you are worried or any concerns at all, please email us and we'll make sure that someone gets in contact with your son or daughter. Okay. Thank you very much, Mrs. Horton there, who's put the link on the chat room as well. Any other questions? Oh, the final thing I forgot to say, apologies, is this is all new to us. We've got a little bit more experience of doing this now because of the last lockdown. We've also got the experience of the bubbles bursting throughout the year. If you do have any suggestions, if you see something that you think could work in a slightly better way, please drop that email in. You like to think that you can plan everything, but of course, sometimes you don't see everything and sometimes you miss things because it's when it gets to an individual that person can start to see better ways of doing things. So please feel free to ask questions or say to us, we think there might be a better way of doing it, or this lesson isn't running in the same way as this other lesson. It might be worth having a bit of consistency. All those suggestions will be really welcomed into the school. So please feel free to contact us. So if there are no more questions coming up, may I just say thank you so much for attending today. As I said, this will become part of the way that we keep in touch with you. Oh, I've just noticed another hand has gone up. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. I'm just going to see if I can find who that is. Oh, sorry. Sorry, is it Alan?
Good afternoon, sir. Nice to
Hello.
see you and nice to have the chance to speak with you. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
I'm just remembering my son was having an option to apply for Bexhill College.
Okay.
Because I'm just trying to help him to find out which way he can carry on with his study time. And
Sure.
what he said to me, he find out in Bexhill College some kind of courses which he wanted, and he want to carry on to developing his own knowledge and that kind of educational thing.
Sure.
And what I'm remembering, I couldn't help him because he said over there on that website he couldn't apply for that because the website was asking him to put the grades down for the GCSEs exam.
Right. Okay.
So I'm wondering who's gonna help him to understand how we can go forward and apply on that college, because I think the session to applying it's already ended.
Sure. Well, the first thing to say is that the sessions to apply into the colleges doesn't end. We like to have indications of numbers before we get to the end of the year, but we'll still have applications that will come in August. So please don't worry. My suggestion would be is that you contact Miss Deep Pros, and Miss Deep Pros will be able to look into getting some grades for you, and then you just contact the college by phone and they'll let you know how to apply.
Okay, thank you very much. Another quick question, please, sir.
Sure.
I couldn't understand by the guidance of the government how is going to be this year GCSE exams, because I'm definitely positive it will be different, but I don't know which kind of difference it will be and how they're going to have a chance to understand. I'm talking about the students, about my son as well.
Sure.
How they're going to have a chance to understand which level they have, just to carry on with the knowledge, just to carry on to apply for university or other form of studying.
So they've indicated to us that it's going to be like last year, which was called a centre assessed grade. So what happens there is that the teachers look at all of the work that the student has done, and then they say this is the grade that we think the student would get if they were able to go into an exam. Now, of course, when you give predicted grades like that, there is always the unknown. So a student goes into an exam and they get asked a set of questions that they just don't know, and therefore they do badly. Or they go into an exam and they get answered a set of questions which are just perfect for them, and they do slightly better than expected. So what happens, the teachers then submit the centre assessed grade into the senior leadership team in the school. And the teachers will rank the students. So within each grade, they will say which student is at the #1 rank in that grade, all the way down to the last student within that grade boundary. And from that, we then do some final looking and testing. We will look at examples of work. We will check that the work has been up to the level that they're suggesting. And then we enter those grades into the exam board. Now, unlike last year, the exam boards are not going to make any adjustments to those grades. So those grades, when they go in, will become that student's GCSE grades, and they'll receive those grades in August. So that's how it will work. So every piece of work that they do now counts. Everything they do gives us another opportunity just to see how they're doing and what kind of level they're at. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Thank you very much. Another piece of mind. I'm hoping this is the last for today. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm just wondering, so these grades, you'll stay with them forever, or it will be next time chance to them for them to pick it up another exam and check another level?
Yeah, we definitely had students that were resitting exams, which they resat in November. So there is an opportunity possibly for them to get a better grade if they want to go for a better grade. But in the main, GCSEs are all about opening up the next stage of their career. It's all about opening up the next stage of their destination. So, yeah, so if your son goes on to do a vocational course, the most important grade that will be the grade that they get at the end of that course, or those A levels, and then they go off to university or into employment or whatever they do after that point. So it's always the last set that you have. So the students who left year 13 last year, they will be judged very much on the degree that they get. The students that left year 11 are currently now year 12. So they've got another year before they'll go through to their final exams. Unfortunately, there is no perfect way to do this. But actually allowing the teachers to make that assessment is probably as close as you can possibly get to a good way, because we know the students really well. So it's just encouraging your sons and daughters to keep doing work, keep handing it in, keep looking to improve it. And that's the most important thing that they can do at this time. Then once we know how it's going to look, of course, as a school, we'll plan how we can best help them, whatever that situation is. But we don't know yet. But we do know that every piece of work will count towards it. There might be something else that they add to it later on. But at this moment in time, you know, as I say, we'll assess the work and then we'll ask the students to improve it, and that will do, hopefully we'll get them the best grade possible. So on that note, we've come to the end of our time. I can't see any hands up at all. Please feel free to send some questions through via email if there's anything in here that we haven't covered. Please know that as soon as we know anything, we will contact you to say that this is what we now know and this is how we're going to go forward. And you know, just feedback is the best thing that you can possibly do, just to make sure that we are doing all the right things for your children, and that's to me the most important thing. And any issues at all that you see within their own mental health, again, please contact the school, and we've got trained professionals to pick up the phone and speak to those students. But thank you ever so much for your time today, and it was great to see lots of you. And I am really looking forward to the time where we can actually say hello face to face, possibly without a mask on. Okay, so thanks very much, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.